Okay, so today's a pretty exciting day. A couple things happened today. One, which I guess I'll go in chronological order. You will see on the Facebook page, I posted another a cappella video, which was performed by me and my sister, Catherine. We did Train Song by Feast, and so it's a song that I had been wanting to do for a while, but it's a duet, and I figured, why not tag team with the family? So you can go check that out on the Facebook. But other than that, I also finished the comic. And so that's a little bit of the big news for me, because I have been working on this for 3 months. I checked it. I started the actual comic on June 1st. And I just finished it today, so it's exactly 3 months on the dot. So it's been a long time in the works, but I'm pretty happy with how it came out. And so I'd love to hear any feedback that you guys have on how you enjoyed the comic, or if you haven't seen it, I've actually put it in the description of the stream here. So even live, you can go check it out, and you can probably still hear me if I'm open in another tab. So I'm just going to get started and talk a little bit about the AI and where that's standing with the data mining project, and then we'll get into the discussion about the comic. I don't really have anything specific I was planning to talk about on the comic, so if you guys have any questions, then be sure to post those in the chat. Even post them while I'm still talking about the data mining project, and then they'll be there for me to answer when I get around to it. So with the data mining project, I've been working a little bit more on it, and so I don't know if I posted about it on Facebook, but I actually attempted the first run of the prototype run. So what basically is happening is I have a very simple equation. I'm pretty sure it's like A plus B minus C. I think it's A plus B minus C times D or something. It's very simple, but so that's the idea, is that I want to see if the AI is working. Not necessarily test its limits, but maybe give it a shot, even if it's running a little bit inefficient. And so at the moment, it is not working. So what's happening is it is creating random equations and random DNA sets for those equations. But the problem is, I think that I need to rework the weighting on the mutation aspect of it, and also rework the actual mutation process as well. Because what's happening is when I give the AI too much free roaming with mutating, it tends to it's a very small chance, but when you're running many generations, that chance becomes a lot larger. Because of the recursive process, it can create an equation that is extremely long, and then when it goes to actually analyze that equation, well, it has to analyze that equation 1,000 times, I believe, is what I have it going through. So it's taking 1,000 random sets of data from the data warehouse, and it's plugging those numbers in and seeing how close it gets to the official correct value. And so I need to rework the actual testing mechanism to make sure that it is producing the correct response that I want it to. I did test it when I was writing it, but I'm not completely confident that it is successfully running through the DNA files and printing out or running the equations how I believe they are supposed to be structured. So that's basically what's going on with the testing algorithm. But the actual mutating algorithm does need some work, because, like I said, it has the possibility of writing those really long equations. And so I'm thinking that this may be something that needs to be a factor based off of the generation, because if the generation brings into play, then that means that it can only make it would only be able to make equations so long until it hits a certain generation, and then it can start cranking down on trying to make a bigger equation once it kind of has its footing. But as of right now, it runs as if it's running correctly, but the actual AI never it never gets better. So what's happening is the score might get better just because of some random nice selection of numbers and data, but then when I go and look at what that best DNA set is, it's still the original value, which means that either A, the mutation function is not working at all, which I'm pretty sure it is. It is producing new functions. Or B, the mutation is just producing something that is completely left field, and so it's not winning out against not mutating. So I also think that there's some problem with the fact that the first variable is the null state. So when I reset everything, the equation itself is z equals x1. So it goes in and it looks at the first x value, the first value in the data other than the answer, and plugs that in and sees how close it is to the answer. And it's not very close, but I think that that is getting it slightly closer than it should off of the null state, because it's kind of deterring possible mutations that were helpful. So I don't know. It's something I need to mess around with, but with my current school schedule, it shouldn't be a problem to find time for that. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about with the data mining project. I don't want to let this one go too long. I've been rambling on a lot in the update streams. But so if there's any questions about the comic, I guess I'll just kind of ramble about the comic for a few minutes, and if none pop up, I'll sign off. But so yeah, this one was substantially longer, both in actually producing time-wise and physical length. So the first episode was 2 pages. This one is 5, and these are 5 full pages. So I mean, full is kind of arbitrary because I can make the pictures, the frames bigger and smaller. But I don't know. I kind of messed around with it, and when I was getting close to the end of the page, I would try and find like a nice spot that was a transition. I also liked to, because what I do when I make the frames is I just draw the picture how it feels naturally, and then I put the border around it and just see what shape it comes out to be. Obviously, it's always a rectangle of some sort, but the actual dimensions, whether it be like 4 by 5, which it'll never be exact because I'm just doing it in paint, is kind of just up to luck, or just up to what I'm drawing. So if something needs to be fairly widescreen, then I draw it fairly widescreen. But the problem is I have to get a little creative with how I orient things. So you'll see that each page doesn't really look the same in terms of how the frames are organized, but I kind of like it that way because it allows for better transitions in my eyes, and also physically looking at the page kind of looks nicer than if it were just a block. So it just draws some more attention. One thing that I would point out, if you guys have any trouble looking at the comic, is that if you go onto the Tumblr page to look at the comic, sometimes it's hard to read the text just in how far it's zoomed in. What you can do is actually, if you click on it and it pops up on your desktop, or if you're on your phone, you can do this a slightly different way. I actually put instructions in the description of the page on how to do this because I realized it was a problem the first time. But if you're on a desktop like I am right now, then you can click it open so that it's everything else is blacked out and you just see the picture and maybe the next page is right there. But if you right click on that, then you can click open in a new tab, and from there you can zoom in. So if there's something, I mean, obviously you don't want to have to do that for every page, but if there's something specific on one of the pages you wanted to get a closer look at, that's the way you can do it. Because they are just pictures. I don't know why Tumblr doesn't let you zoom in. That's kind of weird. But you never know. So like I said, I don't want to ramble on too much, and I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. But if you do have any questions, either post them on Facebook or in the comments later if you're watching this not live. But I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'm hoping to stay on schedule like I have been. So I believe I'm not doing anything next Saturday, so I should be open to stream for you guys. So you can look forward to that. I'm not sure about topics. But I have been putting down some on the list, or at least mentally noting them, so we'll see if I actually remember them. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on Saturday.